So today I wanted to give you a little help or advice about choosing what type of platform to build your website on. So we're talking WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, Kajabi, those other all-in-ones. It's just an overview of if you're trying to decide between which one to do, some of the biggest factors that will go into it, and then where that will probably land for some of you to decide what you want to build it on. It's a big decision just because you don't want to, in a year from now want to change everything, or 2 years from now want to change everything and then be stuck with where you are. So we just want to talk about the different features, like price, ease of use, flexibility. Those are like the big ones, and see which one of those probably fits your business better. So right now, the biggest players are definitely WordPress, has the most websites, Wix, so that's one of those builders, Squarespace, the same, one of those little all-in-one builders, or not all-in-one, but website builder, and then Kajabi. And there's a lot of other all-in-ones now, so basically they're rolling in email marketing, automation, forms, some are even like contracts, invoices. So there's some pros and cons for all of these, obviously, but I just want to go over some of the main factors, and then you can see. So one of the biggest factors obviously is price. So if you are looking for a budget website, WordPress will be probably the cheapest for you to get started. The host that I recommend, I think it's $6 a month for all your web hosting. Now I will say it's not WordPress.com. So there's two different versions, WordPress.org and WordPress.com. WordPress.com charges you, and do not get into that. It's not worth it. You can do any other web host, and they offer WordPress.org for free, just like an add-on. You just click to install it, and it gets you WordPress for free. So I use one of my recommended ones is Host with Love, or I used MDD Hosting. Yes, there's some ones like you've heard of, like GoDaddy, HostGator, SiteGround, but those are the ones I recommend. I don't really recommend those. Some of them are expensive or not my favorite for the things that I include. I like Host with Love, and that's what I recommend for my clients. So if you're looking for the cheapest one, that's great. It gives you email as well. Because like Wix won't give you email, you have to pay extra for that, which is I think $6 with Google. And Squarespace also, you have to see what they include in their plans, because a lot of times it's expensive, and you might not actually need all the features. So that's why if you're looking for price, WordPress is the cheapest. You have Wix and Squarespace. If you have a basic plan, it's a little more expensive. And then those all-in-ones like Kajabi, those are going to be probably a couple $100s a month. So those are going to be the definitely the far end ones. But because it includes everything else, that's why they get away with those prices. But if you're just starting out, a lot of times you don't need everything that Kajabi needs or Kajabi gives you, especially with email marketing. You can get that for free. MailerLite, MailChimp, that's free getting started up to 1,000 people. So see whether everything is included that you need, or whether you just want to start from from scratch and start from the smallest one with WordPress. Especially if you want to decide whether you need a Kajabi and all-in-one. We're going to talk about that more in the next section, which is like ease of use. So a lot of times you might have heard in the past that WordPress pretty much gets a bad rap by being really hard to use, or people hate using it. But I will say WordPress has been around for a long time, and it's definitely had its iterations. And in the past, yes, it was harder because everything was harder back then. You had to code by hand, or not by hand, but you had to know HTML, CSS. It wasn't as nice as it is today, because with WordPress, you can get a free page builder plugin like Elementor, and that will just make you have the same experience as Wix, Squarespace, Kajabi. It's a drag and drop page builder. So you can just drag in your title, drag in a video, drag in a map. So it makes it so much easier to do today. And so I would say that WordPress, it's just as easy to use, if not easier, than any of the other ones. So keep that in mind. It's not as bad as it used to be. Then you have Wix and Squarespace. I would say they're pretty easy to use. It depends on what plan you get, because sometimes you might have a lot more features. And I would say sometimes for me, it's harder to find things because it's not as intuitive. Like I'm thinking, okay, I need to find page settings, and I need to find SEO settings, and it's not within the page, it's within its own setting under marketing. So there's things like that. But like anything, there's a learning curve, and if you're dedicated to using it, you take a few hours, you learn how to use your software, and you'll be set for life. I've heard, I don't use Kajabi personally, but I played around with it, and some of my clients do have it. So I have heard There's a bit of a learning curve for that one because it's an all-in-one. So they have a lot more features. There's a lot more options how to find everything. And I have heard it is hard to use, or harder to use because it has everything. But again, if you're going to be, this is going to be your online home for a while, you can do the time, you can invest in learning how to use it. So, and let's say if you're not so technology oriented and you think you're bad at technology and everything, there are a whole bunch of videos for all these to use to figure out tutorials. And once you see how it's done, you can figure it out, hopefully. Or else if you are looking for support, Wix, Squarespace, Kajabi, they have great support. WordPress, because it's not its own company, anyone can choose to use WordPress. You can't just find a dedicated company to reach out to them. There's definitely forums for different things, but since so many people use it, you can definitely Google your problem and probably find a solution. So, or reach out to someone like me who uses it all the time. And then one of the last things you want to think about is your long-term security and the flexibility you want with your business, because Wix, Squarespace, Kajabi, and all the other ones like that are called like closed platforms. So which means that you can't transfer things out of there for the most part. So if you built your website, you have all your pages, all your content and stuff, and you decide you want to switch to Squarespace, or you want to go from Wix to Squarespace in the future or something like that, you can't do it easily. You have to actually rebuild everything manually. So that's one of the downfalls. You're pretty much stuck with your system, or you have to invest in rebuilding everything again. So that's the Wix, the Squarespace, Kajabi, all the all-in-ones. It's their own platform. They want you to stay there. So if that's not something you like, or you want to make sure that you're in control, it's your business, you want to make sure you have the strongest foundation where you're in control of everything, then you want to go with WordPress. It's the most flexible. You can export your whole site and then import it into another company. So like if you went with, GoDaddy and you built your website there on WordPress, you can export it and then go to a different one like Host with Love, and you import your WordPress website super easily. They have so many more options for flexibility and plugins and everything, but it's a little more complicated to build because everything is piecemeal versus having everything in one platform, one Wix, one Squarespace. But you also have to think about too, if you're building your website and you want it to last 5 years at least in your business, hopefully the platform that you choose is not going to go out of business in that time. Like Wix and Squarespace, those have been around for a while. They have more brand reputation. But if you choose an all-in-one platform that is on the newer end, hopefully they won't go out of business, because then you're going to lose everything and you have to rebuild again. So make sure you build your house on a strong foundation, but keeping in mind how easy you want to build, be able to do everything, if you're willing to put in the time, as well as price. So let me know if you have any questions. I hope that's a good overview, and it will answer anything that you have questions below. All right, thanks.